What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Sunday edition of the Pandemic Update for Sunday, November 12th, 2023. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. Maybe you're wondering, why am I doing a pandemic update? Well, COVID is still an issue, and there are other viruses out there that are a threat to your health, and you could become sick by any of these viruses. Give me 15 minutes of your time, and let me explain to you the health threats that are out there to you right now. If at the end you believe, yeah, COVID is still a threat to you, give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Starting off today with Finland. There are now 2 hospitals in Finland where nearly a fifth of their patients are receiving treatment for COVID. Fifth of their patients at 2 hospitals. That's 20% of the patients. That's quite a high percentage of patients just for COVID at hospitals, and that's a number that we have not seen come from any country in some time, so that's something we have to keep an eye on. It's the Iris variant. That would be EG.5, which, as we know, EG.5 back here in the US has just been replaced by the HV.1 variant. And the Today Show did a story on this, and I think this is a good time. We don't even need to read the whole story. It says a new COVID variant, HV.1, is now dominant. And then it says these are its most common symptoms. Well, I can tell you right off the bat that the most common symptoms that I'm hearing from a lot of people lately are sore throat, which that's even minor at this point. The bigger one that people are dealing with is the coughing, shortness of breath, really high fevers, fatigue, and in cases, pink eye. Pink eye is still a thing with COVID. We've seen it pop up from time to time, and I don't want to downplay the sore throat. I'm just not hearing it be as bad from people. I'm hearing the other issues like shortness of breath and coughing. That is the biggest one that I'm seeing from or hearing from people right now. Also, there seems to be some sort of a nasal issue where people are getting COVID. They eventually get better, maybe a week or 2 later, but they don't fully get better, and it's as if they have a sinus infection and a nasal issue. And I've seen several people report that they are getting that post-COVID infection. So there's a whole slew of different COVID symptoms, and maybe one of these days we will run through the CDC COVID symptom list. I know they don't update it frequently enough, but it's good to have a refresher because there's so many people that think, "Oh, I just have a cold. Oh, my runny nose. It's not COVID. It's something else." All these different symptoms and everything. Look, if you have symptoms of anything, test for COVID. How do you know it's not COVID? I mean, COVID affects everyone differently. Some people, they just get one symptom. That's COVID for them. Other people, they get multiple symptoms. Some people, maybe they're vaccinated and boosted and they still get a ton of symptoms. I mean, it happens. It affects everybody differently. So, by all means, if you feel sick, test for COVID. There are still free COVID tests that you can get from the government. I believe there's going to be another round of them coming pretty soon, so that's a good thing. And if you have the test, use them. Don't let them sit there and collect dust. If you're feeling sick, by all means, get tested for COVID. All right, moving on now to this. A swell of RSV cases among kids has North Texas hospitals near capacity. More than 200 children tested positive for the virus at the Fort Worth Medical Center last week. This is not good. Near capacity in North Texas, you're in a populated state as is, and it's a populated area, so yes, that is not good. Now moving on to this in New Hampshire. Flu seen as sporadic in New Hampshire. 2 adult flu deaths have been reported this season so far. So from time to time over the last week or two, we've been talking about states starting to have their first flu deaths of the season. And it seems to me like these numbers, maybe it seems like last year started a little faster, but it seems to me like these are numbers we're going to have to watch, because if you saw yesterday's update about Puerto Rico, or maybe it was the day before, Puerto Rico is starting to really explode fast, and I hope that's not an indicator of what's to come post-Thanksgiving here in the United States. All right, moving on to this now. Alpha-gal syndrome, known as the red meat allergy, on the rise in Virginia. So for those who don't know much about this, if you're exposed to ticks, maybe you're someone that does gardening, maybe you like to go hiking in the woods, well, you can get bit by a tick. There are several different diseases that you can get from ticks. Alpha-gal syndrome is one of them. And if you get bit by a tick and end up with alpha-gal syndrome, you could actually start having allergic reactions to red meat. Maybe you're someone that likes to eat their steak. Maybe you like a nice New York strip, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you don't eat meat at all. Either way, the point is, alpha-gal syndrome is definitely something that's serious. It wasn't too well known years ago from the research I've done on it. It's something that's starting to become more well known. Virginia's not the only state. It's popping up in several different states. I mean, just because it's in Virginia doesn't mean it can't cross the border into Maryland, or cross the border into Pennsylvania, or even West Virginia, or North Carolina. I mean, it's not just in those states. It has no boundaries. Ticks can travel from state to state. I mean, deer can travel anywhere. So it's something we're going to have to watch. And if you take a look at this Lone Star tick on this map, I'm going to pause this. You can see here, there's several different states that the Lone Star tick is in. And that's the one that seems to be carrying alpha-gal syndrome. So, yes, this is something that we have to pay close attention to. I mean, tick-borne illnesses really don't get enough attention. And that's simply because with climate change and everything warming, the population of ticks continues to go up. And it's something that I am extremely concerned about. I know here in Pennsylvania, where I live, the tick population has absolutely exploded. When I was a kid, there were ticks, but not a lot. Nowadays, there are a ton. Just a few months ago, we had to start giving our cat, I believe it's Frontline Plus, we just let it outside. And mind you, we're in a city. We let the cat outside, it comes back, it was covered in ticks. So, I mean, ticks is a real big problem. Alrighty, moving on now. Let's get back to COVID. Taking a look here at Hubbub and their data, we want to take a look at a couple states. First off, Utah. Salt Lake City has very high local prevalence. Remember, these are the number of people that could be infected within a 5-minute walk. Up to 38 people within a 5-minute walk area, and set to increase by Thanksgiving. So you're starting off the baseline at very high, and it's going to go higher. That's not good. And that's really going to be the theme in a lot of places. Nevada, similar. Las Vegas has very high local prevalence, up to 33 area, but stable. Reno is high, under 24 area and stable, and I would suspect that after Thanksgiving, probably these areas will go up as well. So those are two states from Hubbub World. We'll do some more in the near future. Let's take a look at the latest air qualities, and then we're going to take a look at a couple of wastewater sites today. And you can see air qualities today are actually not terrible. For the vast majority of you, it's not a big problem. We do have these couple spotted areas in Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Not really certain what that's all about. Maybe it's smoke blowing off of a wildfire in Virginia. I don't know. And then you still have these little pockets of bad air quality in the Gulf Coast as well. But you come into the plains, you come to Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, all these areas, Montana, Idaho, are fine. Then you get to the West Coast, and you do see some problems still. California, on up into Washington. Washington has been on and off. Looks like today is a little bit more on with the bad air quality than off. California, it's been very consistent. So until the wildfires end out there, you're going to have these ongoing air quality problems. All right, real quick before we get to a couple wastewater sites. National positivity from Walgreens is 26.2%. We'll get an update on that again, hopefully tomorrow. Taking a look now at some wastewater scan sites, and I think today we're going to come down here to Delaware, because we have not clicked on Delaware in a while. Let's see what's going on in Seaford, Delaware. It's only 13,000 population. COVID is low and still flat at this time. Influenza has spiked up a couple times. Right now it's down, it's low. RSV is high, and Yeah, there has been a rapid increase in RSV here since about middle of October. Look at that. It continues to go up. HMPV is now down. And look at this. Back in September, there was a detection of an Mpox case on September 22nd. Norovirus is medium, but it is rapidly rising. Norovirus may soon go to the high category. No hepatitis A detected there as of yet, unlike what we have been seeing in other areas. How about we come down here to Alabama? What's going on at the Valley Creek Water facility? And, ooh, I'm seeing a lot of high here. This is not good. COVID is high and slowly rising. Looks like it's flat, but I think it's actually slowly rising. Influenza, not an issue. It was earlier on. RSV, wow. RSV is rapidly rising and already high. HMPV, low, not an issue. Mpox is low and not an issue. And what is going on with norovirus? The value here is 120,000. I can't say I've seen anywhere with 120,000 so lately. It's high and it continues to rapidly rise. So, wow, this is near Birmingham, Alabama. I mean, this is really concerning. If you have a loved one that's in a senior facility in this area, be extremely concerned right now because norovirus levels are just really, I'm going to say it, they are off the charts in the Birmingham area. Wow. Yeah, that is not good. Coming down here to hepatitis A, there is no hepatitis at this time. That's good. And Mpox is listed as low, but again, wow, really concerning norovirus levels in that area. Let's now do one site up in the Great Lakes and see what's going on there. Now we have to refresh this because obviously, as you know, this site tends to freeze up on us. I have no clue why. But yes, let's do one site in the Great Lakes, and then we will go out to the west. How about we do South Bend, Indiana? I want to see what's going on there. Medium COVID, slightly dropping. Influenza is low. RSV is dropping at this time. There is RSV being detected. No HMPV, and it looks like South Bend had a Mpox case back in September. Norovirus here, only 6,000, which is a lot lower than what we just saw in Birmingham area. Wow, that caught me off guard. Taking a look at this, it is dropping for norovirus. And back in September and October, there were some detections of hepatitis A. That has since cleared. I think maybe tomorrow we will have the weekly wastewater update. If not, we're just going to bag it until next week. We have to see what the CDC does. It's a really off week with the CDC data simply because of what's going on with it being a holiday weekend. All right, taking a look in California. Let's go to Gilroy, California and see what's going on here. For COVID, low at this time, dropping. Influenza is really low. RSV is high at this time and continuing to rise. HMPV not an issue. Mpox not an issue. Wow, they really do a lot of sequences here for Mpox. In other words, they do a lot of testing for it. Look at that. Pretty much a full slate. Norovirus is slightly rising at this time, but is low. And there was a hepatitis A detection back in October. Alrighty, moving on. Let's take a look at Philadelphia for yesterday. 721 EMS incidents. That's actually lower than the previous day, so that's good to see. Let's do a live look in with the suburbs of Philadelphia. Montgomery County, we see respiratory emergencies, a couple of them, but really overall, not too busy. There's 11 calls at this time. I'm seeing seizures, nausea, vomiting, cardiac emergency. Taking a look now at Chester County, I'm seeing multiple respiratory calls, seizures, sick person, unresponsive person, couple unresponsive people. So yeah, not good. Ooh, dead on arrival, that's never a good call. And now moving on to New Jersey. A lot of hospitals did not update today. Kind of expected for a Sunday. Doesn't always happen on Sundays, but this Sunday it did. 56 out of 70 reported. Therefore, that led to a humongous drop in hospitalizations. If you've been following me long enough, you know that New Jersey often will correct themselves when this happens. So it says 336. That's not accurate. We're not even going to bother looking at the rest of the data, although let's look at discharges. Okay, 70 discharges. And now moving on to New York State. 1,623 new cases. That's the same number as yesterday. And there's no update on the hospitalizations in New York State either, but I will repeat the number for you in case you're new to my channel. And that number is 1,063 people in the hospital. Again, the wild card remains, will New York State drop below 1,000 before the next wave starts? I'm not going to say they will or they won't. I'm going to say, let's just see what happens. As you know, Tuesday's the day with the big update for New York State. All right, finally today, let's do a couple more international reports. Let's see what's going on. Russia, cases up 32%. Deaths are up 3%. Brazil, cases down 57%, deaths down 66%. Poland, cases still up 45% and deaths up 189%. Then we come down here to Romania, where cases are down 53%. Deaths, however, are up 13%, 43 versus 38. New Zealand, cases down 69%, deaths down 70%. Bulgaria, cases now up 29% and deaths are up 41%. Iran, cases down 14%, but deaths are up 6%, 53 versus 50. And we will end today on Chile, where cases are down 86%. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update. Boy, that sure was a lot of news that we went through today, wasn't it? And data. Are you now convinced that COVID is not over and that, hey, alpha-gal syndrome? How about that? That's becoming a big issue, isn't it? If you like this content and you feel that you learned something, give this video a thumbs up. The more people that hit the like button on there, the higher chance that YouTube is going to push this content in its algorithm. And of course, you know, the more people that we get to see this, the more people we can educate on these threats such as COVID, norovirus, flu, influenza, alpha-gal syndrome, and all the other tick-borne viruses. So it's really important. Hit that like button. Also, if you did feel you learned something, I hope you subscribe to my channel down below, and I can continue to bring awareness to you of what's going on out there. And of course, if you know anyone that needs to see this content, by all means, share this with them. I will see you all again next time. But until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and please mask up. Thanks for watching. See you all again tomorrow.